Really, the strength didn't come that I was able to control my food. It came more that I wanted to live.
Right.
I wanted to live.
So that was your why. That was your big why.
That was my why. It wasn't that I wanted to get skinny or anything like that. I wanted to live, and I wanted to be able. And by living, I meant I wanted just to control my diabetes, and live a normal life, even if it meant being on medication. Because again, I didn't know it was reversible.
We believe that you are strong by design, and you were made in God's image to have a strong body, mind, and spirit. You're listening to the #1 Strength and Health Authority podcast in the world. So let's get ready to unlock your potential and transform your life in today's episode.
Hi, and welcome to the Strong by Design podcast. I am your host today, Coach Tonya. Welcome, welcome. I have a super special guest on the show today, actually someone I'm very honored to call my friend. And he's known as Fab the Vegan. His full name is Fabricio. I'm not even going to attempt the last name because I know I'm going to butcher it, but he's a local here in Tampa. I did okay?
You did okay.
So, yes, Fab, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
thank you.
You're very,
Much appreciated.
You're very, very welcome. So, Fabricio and I have known each other for, I guess, almost about a year. We're actually both members of the Tampa Club. He's one of the first people I met here in Tampa.
Yes.
And he was wonderful and lovely, and just like when I think of the ultimate host. That's
right. Thank you. Yes.
So, but little did I know you had quite a story. Quite a history.
Yes.
And it wasn't until after I started attending this Tampa Club a little more often, I got to know more about it. And then we had like a little meeting over cigars, and I found out more. And I found that your story to be very inspiring and also very motivating. So before I talk anymore, let's get right to it, okay?
All right, let's do this.
Great. So you're known around these parts as Fab the Vegan, but you weren't always vegan. So do you want to talk about that with us? How did you become Fab the Vegan from Fabricio Zambrano?
All right. So I started my plant-based journey, vegan journey back in 2013. I was very overweight. My max weight was like 320 pounds. I already had a mild heart attack at 47. In 2013, I was 50. And very, very sickly. And I decided to make a change. I wanted to make a change because I was going to die. Quite honestly, I was one foot in the grave already. And then I started doing research about diets and what to do. And I bumped into this stuff called vegan. Back then, it wasn't called plant-based. It was called vegan. And I started researching, and I come to find out about animal products, how they have effect in our bodies and things like that. And so then I'm going to tell you how I went to Fab the Vegan. So when you go vegan, you got a t-shirt that say veganism on it, things like that. So I started wearing them to the gym. I was the only vegan there. So every time people used to see the vegan shirt and everything, and then they used to say, hey, Fab, you're that vegan, right? Because they used to say, and then they saw me on social media and things like that. So it stuck to it. It said, Fab the Vegan. So because they say, Fab, you're that vegan, right? So I said, all right. So anyway, I said, okay, that sounds good. So I started using it as a hashtag. And, then now it's an LLC. But that's how I became Fab the Vegan. So now that's why I know I'm that vegan.
That's right. And you had sent me, I had seen them before, but you had also sent me some before pictures and after pictures. And you don't even look like the same person. When people lose weight, there's usually especially if they're the more, how do I say this without hurting anybody's feelings, because people are so easily offended these days. But the more overweight someone is and the greater the weight loss, it seems that the more like the transformation just in the face, like you look like a completely different person, and you look many, many years younger today than you did in those before pictures that were taken years ago.
Yes. And this May 23rd, I actually turned 60.
Wow.
And I look at myself when I was in my 40s. In my 40s, I look 60, When I decided to go on my journey, my well, I don't even call it my diet or losing weight, because I didn't really want to lose weight when I went into the journey. My diabetes was really hurting me. And I used to like faint. I remember my hands shaking all the time. When I got up in the morning to shave or brush my teeth, I'll be shaking because my blood sugar was so low or so high. I didn't know. But then again, I didn't know anything about nutrition, so I was eating things I shouldn't have eaten, Anyway, so, and then I said, I got to try at least to control this diabetes. I didn't know it was reversible, type 2. And I said, I got to control this. I got to find something else. So I started digging into YouTube, Google, started going to doctors' speeches, holistic doctors, because I knew medicine wasn't working. Pills weren't working. I don't know how many meds I was in, And then the doctor told me that if I didn't get any better, if my numbers didn't get better, they were going to give me the pump, in my arm. And I said to myself, oh no, what's going on with you, Fab? Here I'm almost 50. And I'm dying already. And I was extremely overweight. I was sickly. I couldn't sleep. It was bad. And then I started doing my research. And I said, okay, you mean I could control this diabetes type 2? And I started looking into diets and things. And like I said, I found this thing about vegan. And I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me give it a shot, see what happens. And I started, but I knew that I couldn't do it overnight.
Right. So what was that like starting out? Because going from your previous lifestyle and making that significant that's a big switch. That's not like going to I'm going to eat fish and chicken and then I'm going to go to fish. You went cold turkey right into veganism. So what was it like when you started?
Well, I didn't go cold turkey.
Oh, okay.
So what I did is I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it overnight.
Okay, yeah.
I said, I'm 50 years old. I've been eating what I call the standard Latin diet.
Which is so yummy.
Yes, it is. It's tasteful, But I said, okay, so I did my homework and I found out what's the most inflammatory food and, an animal-based diet, which is dairy. Dairy has a lot of hormones, a lot of stuff. It's not the same milk our parents drank 100 years ago, not even 50 years ago, So I said, okay, I'm going to cut all dairy. I joined the gym. I cut all dairy. It was tough. But I meant my creamer in the coffee, my ice cream, anything that contained dairy. And I just stopped it. And I started going to the gym. And I stopped cold turkey. I stopped cold turkey. Then I waited about 3 months. And then I got rid of, I think it was pork. Anything that was ham, anything like that, I just... I just cut it out. And that was pretty much it. No bacon. I cut out bacon, everything. Anything that was pork.
You are a strong man.
But you know what it is? What I tell people? A lot of people say it's really the strength. They come that I was able to control my food. It came more that I wanted to live.
Right.
I wanted to live.
That was your why. That was your big why.
That was my why. It wasn't that I wanted to get skinny or anything like that. I wanted to live, and I wanted to be able. And by living, I meant I wanted just to control my diabetes, and live a normal life, even if it meant being on medication. Because again, I didn't know it was reversible. Type 2. And then from pork, 3 months later, I think I went to red meat and so on and so on. So the last thing I had a year and a half later was eggs. Eggs was the last thing I had. And then so I started 2013, beginning of 2013. So by mid-2014, towards the end, I stopped all animal products, totally.
So about a year and a half. Wow.
Yeah. Then I went to, then I said, okay, let me get my blood work and things like that. And when I went to get my blood work, and then I went to see my doctor, she goes, so Mr. Zambrano, he goes, we need to talk about your blood work. And I said, oh my God, okay. So what happened was that as I started that transition into cutting out foods, I started adding more plant-based food and things like that. I didn't eat no processed food. I learned how to cook my own food. For a Latin man to learn how to cook, forget about it. We don't cook. So I started going to YouTube, learning how to cook and things like that. So when I took out an animal product, I included something healthy, And back in 2013, there weren't these options like today, plant-based options. There was nothing. Everything was like, So I started like learning how to cook and things like that. And so when I ate, and if that day I tested my blood sugar every morning, before lunch, after lunch, before dinner, and after dinner. So when you test your blood, you poke your fingers, diabetics.
Right.
My fingertips were black, but I have poked so many holes on it. But I wanted to know what was no good for me and what was good for me. So if I ate something and I saw that my blood sugar was good, I didn't take no pills because I didn't need it. And that went on. So by 6 months before I went for my blood work, I stopped all medication. So when I went for my blood work, and the doctor said, "Oh, I need to talk to you about your blood work," I said, "Oh no, I messed up," because I didn't know. I was just trial and error. And she goes, "I don't know what you're doing." And then she goes, "By the way, you look thinner." She goes, I go, "Yeah, I started exercising and changed my diet. I didn't tell her I was vegan. I just did my diet, things like that." She goes, "I don't know what you're doing, but I don't see no sign of diabetes."
Oh my gosh. And that was after a year and a half making the change. And like making the slow, the one that you could stick to.
Exactly. So, because I knew I wasn't going just to fit into my, into clothes. I just wanted to control my diabetes and get healthy. I just wanted to get healthy.
And how?
Go ahead.
Sorry, finish.
And when she told me that I totally have reversed diabetes, she goes, "I don't know what you're doing, but," she goes, "you have no sign of diabetes." She goes, "I should do that." And I was like, wow. So medically, she told me, I have reversed my diabetes. And that was, I guess, towards the end of 2014. And since then, I stopped taking medication at that time.
Wow. So like a year and a half, gradually making that. Because I think sometimes people get, especially when, like you said earlier, like you were dying. You were sick enough that it was like, slowly. I think sometimes when people, the human behavior, the common human behavior is you hear news like that, this is what's going on if you don't change things. And people try to do the big change all at once. And that's really hard to stick to. And then the rebound can be really, really bad.
Oh, it's worse.
You took the time and you've been able to stick to it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I preach. That's my message. Take your time, do it slow. We didn't get sick or we didn't gain those extra weights overnight. It took time. So when I started my journey, my quote was, it took me 50 years to be where I'm at today. It's going to take a little time to go back or change or lose weight or whatever it was. And it worked. And I told you, it was all trial and error. And I remember I used to eat a plate of food and maybe I had some white rice, some veggies or whatever, some beans. And then I used to test my blood. Now, if my blood sugar was too high, I said, okay, after 8, I said, okay, there's something this plate that's not doing me good. So I said, okay, maybe it's the white rice. So I took out the white rice and maybe changed it up to wild rice, a healthier rice. And then I tested my sugar after 8 that I saw that it went back to normal. I said, okay, no more white rice. So, and that's how I started making changes. Same thing like when I was eating potatoes and things, I said, okay, the blood sugar went to maybe a fruit. But I tested myself. I was my own guinea pig.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I educated myself. I what I call myself YouTube certified.
Yeah.
So I learned and and that's what I tell people, educate yourself. Before you do anything, educate yourself. These days, when you're going to go buy a house, what you do? You do the walkthrough, you check it out, you research who was the last owners, there was any floods or anything like that. You research the property before you buy it. When we go purchase a car, you do the Carfax, you do whatever, you research the car, make sure it is good, make sure the dealer is up and everything. We research it. Our clothes, our fashion, we research it. We go online, okay, this one looks nice, or this one, we search prices. Everything we do except our health. Which is the most important.
I love that you said that because, there's lots of people out there that, whether they're certified or have a degree or, a master's in nutrition or diets, anything like that, they can share a lot of knowledge and it's easy to listen to it and go, okay, I should be keto or I should be this or I should be that. But you took the time to figure out, was it working for you? How well was it working for you? And then this is okay. So 3-4 months has gone by. This is working really well. Let's try something else. And you were consistent in your transition, but you were consistent in checking. And I love that you're telling people, like, educate yourself, because sometimes you got your feedback and you listened to it and you worked with it. And I think that's what we all need to do. Like when we don't, when you get up from the table, or, you've been out to dinner and then you go out and you're driving home, and you just think, I don't really feel that good. What was on your plate? Like, what was on your plate?
That's exactly. And a lot of things we eat in these days, I mean, even if you eat out in restaurants, whatever, sometimes you're not getting what you ordered, It's like I say, you could go to a regular restaurant and you eat a steak for $20. You could go to a expensive restaurant and eat a steak for $150. It's just the one who's prepping it, but it's the same cow. You see what I'm saying? So where was that cow come from? From a plant that was fed grains, which you're not supposed to eat grains, and pumped with hormones and things like that. And again, we're not eating the same thing our grandparents ate, or even our parents. So we got to be very careful. Do your research. I tell people, if you're going to eat your meat, that's fine. Do your research. If you buy it at Publix, contact Publix and say where you get your meat from. Follow the paper trail and see where it's coming from. Is it really coming from a farm or a plant? Are they getting it at a budget? Do your homework. I mean, if you're going to eat it, do your homework. So and that's what I did. I mean, I got really into it. I mean, I dove into it, and I'm glad I did, because I was committed. Like anything I do in my life, like with my business, everything, I'm committed. And I listen to myself a lot. So these days we have lost that gut feeling that tells you, no, this is right, this is wrong. Well, he's a professional. He knows better than me. No, you better know better than them. You see what I'm saying? Like you said, you're driving home and you get a stomach ache. Yeah, they told you that was good, but no, I don't feel good. Yeah. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
so
I love ice cream. I really do, but I can't eat it. I can't eat it. Yeah. So the maybe once a year that I let myself have a couple bites, I just know I'm going to pay for it, but I take the bullet. I don't do it. But I know that. Like, I just know that for me.
Yes. Exactly. And it's okay to take the bullet. I'm not telling you like you're joining being a monk or you can't do anything. No, it's okay. But take it day by day. Take it today. You get up. You say, like I always tell people, if you like you and I, in business and things like that. If I'm going somewhere, let's say somewhere downtown Tampa, I just tell people, if you're going to be there around lunchtime, Google healthy foods around me, or if you want plant-based food. So you already know where you're going to go eat if you can't prepare your own food in the morning. Because, we run busy lives, and sometimes it's just, we don't have the time, especially these days. Google. Say, go find out. Say, okay, look, there's going to be 0.5 miles a restaurant, and you go eat there. So now at least you're getting healthier choices.
Do you
go ahead.
Do you think that we'll talk about Tampa because it's where we both live right now? But and I know you do you travel. We both travel a fair bit. But do you think that today the food industry is doing a better job, a good job, a poor job, a great job of supporting other like lifestyles, like whether you want to be vegan or vegetarian, or do you think? I mean, as far as I know in Tampa. When it comes to eating out in Tampa, it's like it's all you get it all. You get it all. So would you think we've come a long way, that we're making a lot of progress?
Definitely a long way. We have come such a long way. I remember we used to say you can only go to California, maybe just or New York, but Tampa is like you can go anywhere. But I tell people we don't have to eat off the menu. We could, if you know you're going to a meeting or you're going to go out and eat and you want to go to a restaurant, call up the restaurant. Say, excuse me, I'm planning I would like to come in. Do you offer any healthy? Don't say vegan, plant-based, healthier options to eat. And they'll say, you know what? Yes, what's your name? Or we can prepare something for you. It's okay to eat off the menu. So, they can change things up and when they know you how you do it, I'm so-and-so, I called earlier. Oh, yes. Boom, and they already got your plate there. You could do that anywhere.
Yes, and even for the last couple networking events and meetings I went to, when I registered, there's a little thing, especially if a meal's provided, they ask you any dietary restrictions. Do you need a special meal? And you show up, and because last week I was at an event, and the woman sitting next to me, because we sat down and everything was served, and I noticed she didn't have a plate, and I said, "Oh, do you want mine?" And she's like, "No." She goes, I'm vegetarian, so they're bringing me a special one." I was like,
Yes.
"How about that?"
Yes, you can. They'll take care of you, and because the last thing a restaurant wants is to have somebody there and get sick at their restaurant. It's no good. At the end of the day, it's business. So I used to call restaurants, but I didn't tell them I was vegan back in the day because it's really not, I go to this, any other option because I'm allergic to animal products. You see? And they will say, okay, maybe we can prepare you this, and that. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you so much. Because the last thing that they want is me telling them I'm allergic to animal product and me to get sick. Nobody wants to get sued or anything like that.
Right.
And that's why the restaurants are being great, providing food. Because there's a lot of people gluten-free, dairy-free, and they want to provide because they want the business.
Right. And in today's day and age with social media like Yelp, Instagram, all of that, Twitter, if somebody walks into your establishment and they're not happy or you couldn't accommodate them, everybody's going to know within seconds. Within seconds of them sitting down, because you look at, I guarantee you go to any restaurant, you look around, most people are on their phone and not talking to the person that they're sitting there with. So if they're not happy, the world's going to know.
Yes. Oh, they're going to know like in a split second. So we don't want that, and I'm sure that restaurants are aware and they're doing their best. I go to a lot of plant-based vegan family businesses because I want to support them, But then I venture out of my comfort zone and I go to restaurants that serve plant-based options and put a good review. They took care of me. They have plant-based options. Go see them, And that's what I want people, you got to step out of your box and just speak up. Because if you, like I always say, if you never ask, the answer is always no.
That's exactly, and that goes, again, you come back to we're business people, we're running businesses, we do all this research, we do all, what's the why in our business, but we need to apply those same guidelines and rules to our health. Because if you're not healthy, it doesn't matter how good your business is doing, you're not going to be able to reap the rewards of it anyways.
Thank you. I'm going to be 60, so I know a lot of friends of mine that are ready for retirement. I know a lot of friends that are already counting their last years of work. And most of them are, of course, diabetic, and they're carrying a lot of extra pounds. They reach a point in their life where they're divorced, kids out of the house, they're ready to retire. They got all this money coming in, but their health is no good, so they can't do anything. And it's sad because you work all your life to come to these years and you can enjoy them. So why not start making some changes? So even if you start making changes now, maybe, I don't know how old you are, in a couple of years, you're going to feel so much better, that you're going to enjoy what you work for.
Yeah, that's retirement. You're supposed to enjoy it. It's not to retire so you can die.
Thank you. So that's what I tell people, I remember when I was raising the kids, I was so heavy, the kids wanted to go to the beach, And I said, no, not today. Why don't we go to the pool? But my reason behind it was because for me, where we parked the car, to walk through the sand all the way to the water, I couldn't do it. I was too heavy. I'll be dying. That by the time I got by the water, I'll be drinking tons of water and I was sweating because I couldn't do it. And then thinking that I got to walk back. Plus,
it's a round trip. It's a round trip.
So I was like, oh my God. And then I had to carry stuff. I died. So it wasn't fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now when I go to the beach and walk around, I feel like, wow, it's the little things. It's not the big things that life you miss. It's the little things. Yeah, it's like, it's like getting up and saying, today I think I'm going to go ride my bike. And you get up and you say, or you go for a walk, or you call a friend, hey, want to meet in the park? Let's do a walk. Let's do breakfast. And you're able to do it because you got that energy and you feel good about yourself.
Right.
It's the best.
It's not just about, it is the priority is health and wellness. But with that comes a lot of freedom to do the things you want to do.
Yes.
Like go to the
Very
beach.
well said.
go ride your bike. Kids are active, but then so are grandkids, and we're a lot older when the grandkids come along.
Yeah.
So if things were hard when we had kids, they're going to be near impossible when the grandkids come along, and the children come by and say, "Okay, you're going to stay with grandma and grandpa for a week," and you're like, "Whoa, what?" It gets harder, but it doesn't have to be. I mean, yes, when we get older, we get more tired. We get tired more quickly and stuff. But I think, and I've said this for years, like back when I had my holistic doctor practice, I used to say that we all get older, like we do, we age, but that doesn't mean we have to get old.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. We don't have to, we could get old like wine, or we can get old like milk. It's like,
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Do you think
it's up to you.
With the whole, because there has been such a mind shift in health, like I feel like it's finally gaining traction. I know back when I first started my business in health and nutrition, I was just like, I don't know if I have the energy, because it felt like such a hard sell, because it did mean taking time. It did mean stepping back and making, what you were eating a priority. And I understand if you're a busy parent and you've got kids doing all kinds of things, meal prep and eating, like sometimes it's like just about getting everybody fed so you can get them where they need to go and get them back. So I felt like for a long time it was such a tough sell, because you were actually telling people you do have to make time. This isn't a full-time job, but it is your health is your job. It is your responsibility. But now it seems like we've kind of finally turned the corner for the last few years anyways. And would you say that we've kind of, with that, people are making it more of a priority, and we're kind of changing the appearance of what retirement is?
Yes. And I actually would like to, I think that is happening a lot is because of the social media. I was talking to a lady. I called an Uber, and those were my Uber days that I called them. and the lady that was driving, she was my age, 60. She was carrying extra weight and everything. And it was God sent. She said, I told her my story. We're talking for a while. Then I told her how much I used to weigh. She goes, "Oh my God, you did? But how old are you? You don't look it." I said, "Well, this is what I did. This is what I did." It wasn't easy. And she goes, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking of going, plant-based, because I want to feel better. I want to lose weight. My daughter went plant-based and she lost weight. Her kids are now plant-based. And I've been thinking about it, because she already had all these surgeries and everything. Nothing worked. I go, first thing you got to do is this. Don't think that you want to lose weight. Just say you want to get healthy. Okay?
Words are
Stop
so powerful.
thinking you want to lose weight. Yes. Just say you want to get healthy. She goes, and I gave her my card. I go, any question you have, you text me, you call me. I can guide you with how to do it. And she goes, "Oh, great." I go, I freely received, I freely give. I told her. I told her, and then she was like ecstatic, and she's going to be 60. And I told her, listen, I go, you got to do something, because how much time do we have left? I go, the good Lord can, I would say 75 is a gift. That is what we're going to live. After 75 is a gift. So why not enjoy the last 15 years? Why not enjoy it in good health with your family or whatever you want to do? I go, even if you go out, sit in the park, or go with a friend, go have a glass of wine, you're able to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Why not enjoy it?
Don't
I go, a lot of people say, yes, a lot of people say,
or that, or when you get to those, the older years, thinking like you got to walk around with a bag filled with your medication. Like, I want to have wine, but I got to take this stuff first or after. Like,
yes.
That's like when people want to place the argument of like, well, it's so much work. Yeah, so is it's work and it's an expense. So is being unhealthy. Unhealthy it's going to cost you a lot more, and it's also going to cost you your time, because the management that you have to do, whether you have maybe diabetes or whatever the health issue might be, living in dis-ease before you're in disease, but living in dis-ease becomes costly. And it will become a full-time job managing medications and doctor's appointments and lab work. And why?
Exactly. And that's what people need to know, because they think that, we've been taught, and we're coming out of that, that a pill is the answer. But people are realizing it's not. Because I continue to get sick, I continue to get worse, it doesn't work. So that's what I'm saying, like, people are learning. People are like, there's more people there talking about it. And they say, no, you could feel better. You know, and a lot of people say, you know, yesterday I got a call, last night I got a call from a friend of mine that I haven't spoken to him in 8 years. But I know him since grade school, since 1975. All right, so he's my age. 1975, I think we were in 5th grade, that's when I met him. And the last time I saw him was in a reunion maybe 8 years ago. So we haven't spoken since. And he calls me, you know, he said, hey, Fab, you know, how you doing, you know? He goes, I got a question. I said, sure, man, how you been? How's everything, blah, blah. So I come to find out that he follows me on social media. He's one of those just come in and out. He doesn't like, he doesn't anything. But he's been following me. He's been following all my advice. He says, I take my salad to work now. I have my grapes in the house. I do this. I go, get out of here. I said, yeah. He goes, because he was scared of getting a heart attack. So he started making change. I said, that's how you do it. And I always tell people, take inventory of yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Okay, I'm diabetic. I'm overweight. I don't like the word obese. So I say, so you could say I'm overweight 40 pounds. Be honest. Write it down. Okay, so what am I going to start working on? In the morning, I eat so much. I got to cut that. Be honest with yourself. You know, it's like we sit down, we make our plans for our wealth, but never for health. You know, it's amazing. You know, so that's what some people know. Sit down, be honest, and say, okay, I'm 40 pounds overweight. I feel like crap. I don't like getting up from bed. I sleep all day. Okay, you want to make change? Let's start from the top of the list. That should be a vision board.
I love that you say, you know, instead of saying I want to lose weight, tell people say I want to get healthy. Because I mean, you know, when you say write it down, that the words that we write, the words that we see, the words that we say is so powerful in our mindset to actually keep us on track or like to bring us back. And a lot of times people, it is, but they look in the mirror and they're so unhappy with what they see. They get very depressed and they're focused on losing weight. Well, losing weight can be very difficult. It's not impossible, but it can, depending on how much you have to go, depending on your current lifestyle. If you're someone that's never been to a gym, you've lived very sedentary, losing weight can be very overwhelming and daunting. But if you just look at it like, I want to get healthy. Okay, what's one thing you can do for the next 10 days to get healthy? And I think that's so much when we chunk it back.
Yes, perfect. We set goals that are unrealistic.
Right.
They go, okay, for the month of March, I'm going to go meatless, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go water, They got all this thing in the list. And then what happens? It's unrealistic because you can only probably do that for 5 days. And then when you come up and you fail, maybe like 2 weeks later, you say to yourself, see, I'm no good. I can't do this. This is not for me. This is not meant for me. You sabotage yourself. But like you said, make plans for 5 or 10 days. Those we can do. You know, you say, okay, for this Friday, this Monday to Friday, I'm going to do this, and you can do those things. Like I tell people also, shop only for 3 days. Stop buying food like the world is ending. Like, you know, stop shopping at those big super centers, you know, Costco's and things, because we overbuy. Either they go bad in our fridge, or we throw them out later. Just buy for 3 days. Just buy. Because if anything happens anyway in this world, we're not going to be able to carry all that food anyway. So buy things according to your palate today. What am I in the mood? What fruit am I in the mood to? You know, this week I think this 3 I'm gonna have apples, oranges. Okay. Next week could be papaya, mangoes, because our palate keeps changing.
Yes. And the seasons change, you know. The seasons change, what's available changes, you know, so it's also cheaper to buy in season, but there was a time when that was how people lived. You know, you got up in the morning and you went and it was actually I lived in New Zealand for 5 years. It wasn't, how long have I been? That was about 7 years ago. And even then, that's how I shopped. I would get up, go to the market on Sunday morning and kind of buy for a few days at a time, you know, and that's how it was done.
Yeah, and we got to go back to that. You know, we got to go back to that. And I always told we got to get man back in the kitchen. You know, because I remember
yes.
I used to. Yes.
Yes.
You know, I remember,
Amen.
yes. I mean, you know, because, you know, my generation, we didn't cook. You know, our mothers spoiled us, cooked for us, and then when we got married, whatever, they cooked for us, so we never learned. So I used to have a client that said, you know, Fab, I want to lose weight, I want to do this, I want to do that. I go, so, you know, he goes, but the problem I'm having is my wife won't cook what I tell them. I said, so what are you cooking yourself? Oh, man, I don't know, man. I said, stop complaining. Stop complaining. Get over there, put on YouTube, and learn.
YouTube.
I mean, you know,
Honestly.
YouTube.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly. It's that easy. It's that easy, like to find it. And it just takes practice. And
it just takes practice.
I remember we had one of our conversations. You said that when you started, like with the vegan cooking and that, you said the stuff you made, it really wasn't great. It took you a while.
Exactly. It took me a while, but I ate it, you know, because I knew it was healthy because I purchased it myself. I wasn't going to throw it out because I spent too much money. So, you know, nothing a little hot sauce can help, can cure. So I like, hey, I ate it. I felt good. I knew I had healthy. So the next time I learned, I'll say, maybe it needs a little bit of this or a little bit less of this. But you learn like everything else, you know, like everything else in life. I think we gotta come back to that, you know, and that's where the health is, you know. I think those days where we're just running around like crazy, they're coming to an end. You know, we gotta take the time, get up a little early if you gotta prep some food. Or do your homework before. You know how we put on a calendar, okay, tomorrow we got this, meeting at this one, meeting this, meeting that. In your calendar, also put where you're going to eat.
Yes.
And set an hour reminder.
Exactly.
The most important thing, which is the fuel, we forget. We don't do it. And then we're so hungry by 4 or 5 o'clock, we go through a drive-thru just to calm us down so we don't faint. And then that's to hold us over till we get home. Then we get home and we pile it on more. By this time, it's 8 o'clock at night. Then we feel tired. Then our body's totally stressed out. And we don't even sleep right. You know? So it's like, so we got to like you said before, we got to take control of our health. And it's just baby steps. Take it easy. Don't overwhelm yourself. You know? I didn't get like this where I'm today, you know, overnight. And I was able to keep it because I reached my goal weight about 5 years ago. So my goal weight was 165. That's where I wanted to be. I used to be waist 44. And now I'm 30. And no surgeries, no nothing. And even, it's so amazing that even my skin responded and started going back. Because, you know, once you feed everything, you know, the skin, what they say is the biggest, largest organ, I think, it starts feeding. And we forget to feed that. That's when people go on crash diets, they lose the weight, but they have all this extra skin.
Yeah.
And now they got to go to somebody else to get it cut off. And that creates more problems. It never stops. It never stops. And everybody gets paid. The pharmaceuticals, the doctors, everybody gets paid except you. And I tell people, you are the most expensive real estate in the planet.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants you, your body. That's why when you have like sports, you know, things, Adidas or something, they want you to wear their shirt because you're the best billboard, you know? You're the best. So that's why when I started really learning that, I started making my own shirt, Fab the Vegan, things like that, because I wanted to promote myself. You know, you're the biggest, and people are fighting for your body. People are fighting for your real estate. And even after you pass away, they say you want to donate a kidney. By the time you get to the grave, you've been sold.
Yeah, there's still use. Yeah. There's still use if you've taken care of yourself. There's still a use.
Exactly. And why not? And actually, you can help somebody else by having a healthy liver, maybe, by having a healthy kidney. You see, you become an asset, so you can help somebody. It's amazing. You even after you're gone, you're helping people. Unbelievable. That's why health is so important. You know, we can't be so selfish and just think about ourselves, you know, and think that this is it. No, there's more. There's more. We gotta pay it forward. And that's why I love doing things like this, because if I can just save one person and just change their mind, it's all worth it.
Right.
I've done my job.
That's right.
You know, I've done my job.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you ever crave, like with all of that, did over time, did I would imagine when you start something like that, there might be those cravings of, you know, as you're kind of like cleaning out the closet, you're getting rid of things that you don't. Yeah. I mean, did you, or do you now, do you ever like smell a hot dog and think, oh my gosh, that smells good, or a steak? Do you ever crave those foods?
Not at all.
Wow.
Not at all. And I'll tell you why. Because when people say, oh, you don't miss this, you don't miss that, my mind is already, since I have a whole new mindset, lifestyle, my mind goes back to the days where I couldn't even bend down to tie my shoelaces. I couldn't even clean myself properly. I was so heavy that I was having problem buying clothes because I didn't like the way I looked in them. So it just transfers me back to the lifestyle that I didn't like, where I felt like zero. So I know that it was my diet and my lifestyle that brought me to that. I don't want to be there anymore. You know, I don't want to be there. Now, does a steak smell good? Does a hot dog smell good? Yes, because it brings back those great memories. Or when I used to sit there and eat a good steak, I'm not saying it doesn't smell good. A hot dog smells good. I mean, my God, I love them, you know. But I know now, at 60 years old, it's no good for me. There's a lot of things that I used to do in my teenage years that is no good for me now, right?
Yeah, the awareness certainly gets more fine-tuned as we get older.
Exactly. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, like I say with people that let me even get a steak, they go, Fab, it smells good. I said, dang, rice smells good. You want something? I said, no, I'm good. And that's why, like, when I go out, I always eat before I go to meetings, to network events. I'm ready. I always leave enough room for my beer, and that's it. But I already eat. I don't feel like I'm starving or nothing like that. And I won't eat it anyway, because anyways, probably going to have me in the bathroom for the next couple of days.
Right.
Yeah, you know? Right. So my body's already knows how to fight that.
Yeah.
So I don't crave it. I don't say, oh my God, no, I don't. I really don't. And that's like everything else in life, you know. Like the lifestyles we had at 30, we don't crave those no more because we were mature. And we like ourselves now as an adult because now we know, you know. So we don't crave. Yeah, were they fun? Yeah, they were fun. We're not going to say they weren't fun, but we won't do that anymore. You know, so it's amazing. Like these days, you know, I frequent cigar bars and things like that. You know why? I call them a quiet spot. Because I don't want the noise, I don't want nothing. Sometimes I sit there with my cigar, my beer, and my earbuds, and I just listen to music. That's how a quiet spot. I don't need all that noise no more. So it's the same thing with food and everything. It's lifestyle change. Lifestyle. I mean, how would I look if I still craved this when I was 30? At 60 years old, going to a club where all the kids are, you know, it's like, it's, you know, exactly. So, same thing with health and diet. Yes.
Do you have a favorite meal that you like to prepare?
A favorite meal that I like to prepare? Pasta. I love pasta. I love pasta. So in my pantry, I got regular pasta. I got plant-based pasta. I got whole wheat pasta. So I got all these different pasta. It depends on that day how I feel. If that day I want pasta but I want to eat healthy, I eat my chickpea pasta. But if that day I want to have me an old school good ziti or meatballs, because they got vegan meatballs, I make myself my rosoni, which I know is all white flour, but I make it with my vegan cheese and the vegan sauce, everything, and I eat it. That's what I say. This. Yes, and I don't go starving. When I want to eat, I eat. You know, and that's what I tell people. It's okay.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's important you said that because it removes that element of guilt. I think sometimes if people decide that they're going to make it a lifestyle change because they want to be healthy, and then they go out one night at a friend's house and they have, you know, a cupcake or something, or they eat something that isn't part of that, and then there's this huge guilt and they think, well, I've blown it now, so I might as well. I like that you say that. You know, it's not the end of the world. It's not, you know, as long as you're consistent with the big thing that you're doing that mostly, those few times that you kind of, you know, you sort of unlock the gate and let yourself have something, it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world, but you know, society and the diet companies and everything, they make you feel so guilty. They make you feel so guilty that, you know, like everything else in this world, you know, and I don't want to offend nobody, but religion and things like that, they make you feel so guilty when you do something that you're not supposed to. It's okay. It's okay. You know, it's like when a baby starts crawling, right? And when he starts taking his first step, his end goal is to walk. But he falls, or she. And you know what the baby does? Gets back up and tries again. Doesn't say, okay, I stay on the floor. That's it. I ain't going to walk no more. I can't walk. I can't do this. Not for me. Why you give birth to me? No, we don't. But as adults, we do that. We were supposed to know better. But the kid falls and gets back up and starts walking. Then after start walking, he say, hey, you know what? I can move my legs faster. I can run. He starts running. And that's how we got to do it. We got to go back. That's why I call it baby steps. We got to go back to the baby step. And relax. Even if you fall and hit your head on the table, it's fine. You get back up. And it's the same thing with health, with diet, anything. It's fine. And once you know yourself, it's like me. Like I like my beer. And let's say one day I drink my beer. Next day it's all water. I don't drink constantly every day. I have a day where I just drink water and smoothies and things and just detox my body, things like that. Because I enjoy it. And at 60 years old, I want to enjoy life. And this is the little things I enjoy. I like driving around with my windows down and my rap music on like some teenager. I like doing that, And it's funny because people my age, they look at me like, look at that kid blasting that music. And I laugh because I know they're probably even younger than me.
Right.
But that's what life is about. That should be your angle, just to live life.
I love that.
Not to fit in that dress or not to fit in those pants. No, it's just to enjoy life.
I love that.
That's it.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So, Fab, for our listeners, if anybody's sitting there thinking, I really need to do something about my lifestyle, I want to be healthier, I would like to try this, what would be your top 3 tips for someone that is deciding that they want to actually explore and experiment with a vegan diet? What would you say to them?
Yes, the top 3, first of all, and very, very important, is keep it to yourself.
Yes.
Don't keep it to yourself. Don't put it out there on social media or tell your family or nothing. And I'll tell you why, because as soon as you try to adopt a healthier lifestyle, you got the people coming at you. Oh, I heard that's bad. I heard that's no good. Oh my God, watch it. You're too old. You're too young. You're too heavy. You're too skinny. Everybody tries to keep you down. Don't tell nobody. Start on your own. Start doing your research. Are you diabetic? Start finding out what vegetables, what fruit, what's good for you. Research is most important. Start doing your research. Once you find out what to eat, what not to eat, go purchase it in small quantities and try it to see if you like it. Because there's always an alternative to something. A lot of times we said, okay, they told us to eat kale. Me personally, I don't like kale. So it's like, but there's alternative to kale, So if you don't like kale, like full-grown kale, you could buy baby kale, which is actually not as sour, So there's alternatives. So you learn. Then start learning how to prepare your own food. Right? And I think those are the top 3. That's what's going to keep you going, motivated. And then just start switching things out on your plate. You don't have to do it all at once. Maybe you want to fix your breakfast. Your breakfast, maybe you have your eggs, your bacon, and your toast. Don't say, okay, no more breakfast. No. Look something in the plate. Say, what over here is doing more damage to me right now? I said, diabetic or maybe whatever you have. Say, you know what, maybe I don't need the bacon. And cut out the bacon and maybe put a piece of fruit.
Yeah.
Boom. Done.
Simple.
That's it.
A simple switch.
Simple. And then a month or 2 later, you're going to say, well, I don't miss that bacon. Maybe I can remove that butter toast over there. Maybe I can have something else. So now, you see, in a year from now, you're actually eating a better breakfast. And by that time, you're already fix your lunch. Because then you go to lunch. You go, I can do better with lunch. I don't have to go to a drive-thru and get those motor burgers. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can get something else.
Yeah.
And you start, and little by you start changing your mindset towards food, not as something that's going to make you feel full, but something that's going to fuel you. Because a lot of times we just, oh my God, I'm starving, I need something. All you want to do is get that full feeling. No, they start taking it as fuel. And then you start like, okay, then you go to dinner. And little by little, by this time, maybe you do some walking. You just 30 minutes a day for 3 times a week at the most is fine. You don't have to go in the gym and kill it and do all that. No, just start moving those legs. That's key. I always compare them to, remember the cars when they first came out, you had to go in front of the motor and crank the engine. Yeah, and crank the engine so the engine could start before the electronic ignition. Same thing with our legs. Crank those legs so the engine can start working. And once you crank your engine, your heart starts moving because it's a muscle. You got exercising everything. Your blood starts flowing a little better. Now you feel better. And you keep challenging yourself. So you can walk 30 minutes. You walk 10. When I first started, I couldn't walk. What I used to do is go to the front of my house. So my property is a corner property. I just went and walked around the corner and back and went back in because that's all I could do. And then I started going around then I half the block. It came back. Then I started going around the block, and things like that. And I timed myself. I knew I could only walk 10 minutes. So I timed myself, okay, 5 minutes I walk that way, and 5 minutes back, I'm done. Little things. And look, here I am. Yes, it takes time, but you get to keep it. I'm 60. I've been this weight maybe 5 years, 6 years. And I'm actually lost some more weight because I do a lot of fasting now and things like that, just to clean myself out. I think I'm down to 155, and I love it. I like this weight. This is the weight that I feel comfortable in. And we all got different weights that we feel comfortable in. So what is your comfortable weight? Work on that one and keep that one. This is my comfortable weight. So that would be my tip.
That's very inspiring. I love how you say that because what I'm hearing is like by keeping it simple and small steps, you actually set yourself up for success. Sometimes we set a goal so big and it's such a huge thing that it's like we set ourselves up for failure. So those small things get you set up for success. And with each little success, you feel better about yourself. And as you feel better about yourself, you want to do more. So it really kind of has that domino effect and it keeps building,
For sure. Like I always tell people, work till you are your own inspiration. Work till you are your own inspiration. Because once you become your own inspiration, there's no going back.
Yeah, and you don't need anybody else's approval or anything.
You don't need anybody because now you are who you're supposed to be. You like what you see in the mirror. I mean, no lie. Even though I'm where I am now, subconsciously, I'm still that heavy guy. That never leaves you. That stays there. It's a constant thing. It's not about food or anything, but sometimes I look at myself and say, oh my God, what's this over here? Like a little, it's like, relax, man. I mean, but that's how we are. We tend to be a worst place. We look at when we look at pictures, we don't look for the good part. We look, okay, what's that? But it's the way we are. So I remember once, 2 years into my journey, 3 years, I never really looked in the mirror. But I remember coming out of my bathroom, and I just finished coming out of the shower, and I looked in the mirror, and I saw that I was a slim guy, and I actually had a couple little squares in my stomach. I was like, oh my God! My conscious mind said, look, this is you. I was like, wow! I actually went and took a picture and everything. I was so amazed. And then I was so proud of myself. I said, I got to put this up on social media.
Yeah.
But I was scared because I was still that heavy guy. So I had a post pending, I think, for a month. My before and after. I just couldn't do it. I said, you know what? It's either do or die. I come this way and I press the button, share. Of course, the comments came and everything. But it made me feel good that people saw that I was actually legit. And then, of course, got the people say, you must have had surgery. There's no hanging skin. I go, no. And it's amazing. And that's what I'm saying. If you take it slow, you take it easy, become your own motivation. And just know that you're in here for the long term. Don't think I'm going on a cruise in July and I need to get fit. No, it's not about that. Just, you're here for the long term. And just enjoy life as you do it. Enjoy the journey.
Yeah, love it.
Because it's really, at the end, it's the journey. It's not the goal.
It is. It is.
It's the journey.
So Fab, I know that you do a lot of speaking on this. You're all over social media, and you're quite a presence in Tampa. You're often asked to speak. You do a lot with the Tampa Club too, as far as health and wellness. So for any of our listeners, that I also know you do like to pay it forward. You're very willing to sit down and talk to people and give them feedback. So for our listeners that might want to reach out to you, whether it's to have you come in and talk or just want to reach out to you to say, look, I would really like to try this. I've tried it before. I failed. Where can we find you? Where are all the places that somebody can find you and reach out to you?
All right. So you could go to Facebook, Fab the Vegan, just Fab the Vegan. And you can always message me through there, and I answer, within 24 hours. You can go to, I also am Instagram, Fab the Vegan 63. Okay. And you could email me. Fab the Vegan also at Gmail. And so, yes, and you go in social media, in my profile, my number is there, my cell number. You can always show me a text or message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And no questions too small, no questions too big. And that's what I tell people. I will answer you when I can. If there's something I don't know, I may do the research, or I could pass you to somebody that may help you in that. Like me, I focus a lot on men because I know what men go through in this journey. So if I can help a female, then what I do, I pass it on to another lady that, maybe she can help you. And I'm very honest. I don't know everything. I only know what I've learned from myself, and I try to pass on that knowledge. So yes, reach me. I mean, you can also go on YouTube and type Fab the Vegan, and you'll see me in a lot of interviews that I've been in Blue TV and Spanish television and a lot of YouTube being, interviewing. So yes.
Great. Well, we'll put all that information for our listeners. We'll put all of that in the show notes so that they can also catch that as well.
Yes,
Fab,
sure.
It has been an absolute pleasure. I'm so grateful that you said yes to come on the show and let me interview you. I appreciate you, and I love your story. I think it speaks volumes to people about getting healthy. Not as much, being vegan is sort of the side topic because that's how you got there. But when you speak, it's more about being healthy than, that's what it's all about. The vehicle was veganism for you, but your mindset on becoming healthy and a lot of the things that you say, I think speak to so many people, regardless of what they want, like whatever their journey is to getting healthy, just the way you speak about getting healthy and how you break it down into like, these are simple steps we can do. I think it's wonderful what you're doing for
so
health and wellness for the whole industry.
Thank you. The key is not to feel like we are 20 or 30 if you're my age. The key is to be healthy wherever age you're at.
Right.
A lot of people say, Fab, you must feel like you're in your 20s and 30s. I go, not really. I don't remember. Number one, I wasn't that healthy in my 20s and 30s. I'm a healthy 60-year-old.
Right.
And whatever that means right now, that's what that means.
Yeah.
And that's the focus. Just focus on that.
I love that. Well, Fab, thank you. Thank you again. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I do want to have you back. I want to have you back in a couple months, talk some more, because there's so much more I want to ask you about. And I think there's so much more our listeners want to hear. But thank you so much for listening. And thank you for those of you that joined us today. I'm Coach Tonya. This is the Strong by Design podcast. Share this with friends and family. Share that with somebody that is struggling and wants to live a healthier lifestyle. Please check the show notes. We're going to have all of Fab's contact information there. And before you go, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. I'm Coach Tonya signing off with Strong by Design. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening to the Strong by Design podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe so that more people can find out about our show. Plus, you don't want to miss any future episodes with the amazing guests and topics we have lined up for you.